For your time today. I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation just now. Today's meeting is going to be a little bit more brief, but fine-tuned than last week's. I want to go ahead and reaffirm that our goals here, my goal, Roman's goal, is to help you guys succeed, to convert these leads into clients, short-term clients, long-term clients, lifetime clients. Our goal is to help you guys strategize as to how to reach the person, how to absorb the lead, do a little bit of homework before you call. That whole process, help you close more leads. As we've mentioned before, historically sales are 1 in 10. We've actually started to build a tracking system as to how many offers that we have. So right now we have 13 offers and we have about 200 leads that have come in. So we're a little under that number, but a lot of the leads that come in are not hot. So it's also how to digest that lead and see, is this a good lead, bad lead, work with them or next, whichever. Roman can talk better about which offers have come in. He last week started working on who has some results, but I know that Claudia has some results, Katrina does, Holger. I have a few results to talk of. I think Mark had some good interactions last week. And so that's a little bit of what's been going on. Last week, I asked some people to join me on Thursday so that we could go through the program and the system to see how it works and how we're doing. We actually had a discovery. When I was mentioning to the team that the people, this is the performance that you guys can see here of who's been answering what, the average of each lead that people are picking up on and everything. I had referenced to you guys a few times that this gentleman here, Michael Johnigan, was getting the most of the calls because that's the way that it shows up to me in the performance and in the inbox. So if we look on the inbox, where it records all of our calls, it was actually registering this person's name more than anybody else. But as we listened to some of the calls, we actually realized that the system was wrong. We played Michael's last 3 calls, and the 3 calls in a row. As of last week, he had 12 calls. We played 3 of his calls in a row, and each call was actually a different person. It was Katrina one time, it was Boris another time, it was Michael on the 3rd call. So the system is not tracking that beautifully. So we had thought that maybe he had sorted something out or was able to answer the phone before everybody else. We actually found out that it's impossible. You may be able to answer the phone even if you had an auto answer app, but then you have to press 1. So even if that person answers first, but they're showering, the phone's in their pocket and they're driving, and they don't press 1 first, they don't get it. But if they're in front of the phone, they're ready, and they answer, it auto answers, and you press 1, you win, but you have to be ready for that. So if that person's ready for that, then they get it. But there's no fixing that. So that was something that came up that Mark had brought up and some of the people were curious about. We went through that whole system as a team last Thursday and we got to the bottom of that. So I'm pretty confident that there is really no fix on it. Katrina, you were there, and Mark, you were also there. Vlad, what do you guys think about the way that we receive the calls as a group? Do you think that if there is,
I think there is no system which can help people to get these calls faster than another. Okay. So just only way you can just get it and press 1. Press 1. Yeah. As many times as you can.
And the interesting thing that happened for us is there was 4 or 5 phones that rang in the room, and they all rang at the exact same time. So it wasn't like someone that has AT&T rings first and T-Mobile rings second, or Metro, whatever. We were all there in the room, and I think you even got the phone with 3 people. With 3 people answered it, there are 4 or 5 phones ringing in the room, so that was good. I think that was good for us all to have that meeting and see that, and I was wanting everybody to see, like, look, here's the behind the scenes of it all. You know, I know that you guys only seen the wrap, but you know, if anyone else wants more clarification on that, you're welcome to come into my office any day. Just let me know beforehand to make sure that I don't have an appointment or something, and we can sit side by side and go through it. One thing that we started last Friday, which I love the idea, is to have the call center, so to speak, where whoever's here is on call or on duty, so to speak. So from 9 to 3, as we saw on WhatsApp yesterday, Roman is having a certain number of people that are here, between 4 and 6 people or whichever. Then from 3, I think, to 8 or 9, he's going to have like a second team, and then after that, everybody. But what he's trying to create is accountability, you know, so that nothing's kind of slipping through the crack or someone's not overlooking or whatever. The shortcomings of the app is that it doesn't bing when you receive a new lead. That's kind of sucks. You know, that it doesn't, like a text message, when you get a text message, it beeps. This app doesn't do that. I've tried it on my phone.
No, it's not. Okay.
It doesn't on mine. And I called Zillow and went through it, and they said, they basically said, sorry, we're working on it. That's what I received. So your phone beeps when you receive a message?
Yeah, and beans, and it shows that they receive an email also.
Well, you receive the email, then it's pinging for your email, but the app itself, the Premier Agent.
No, maybe it's not an app, but you get a text message, you get an email, and sometimes you even get like automatic call.
Yeah,
that
sometimes they dial you.
That you receive the lead. So actually, I think there is no chance to miss it.
Okay, well, some people had mentioned that it wasn't pinging, and if you guys have any issues with that, is anybody having that issue?
What issue?
That it's not alerting you on your phone?
Yeah, the app doesn't, but sometimes I get emails
Yeah.
to the email.
So the email gets you? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have instructions here for how to download the app, how to set the alerts so that it does show up on your phone. So if anybody needs that, I handed this out last week. You can grab one if you'd like. And I handed this out. I handed this out last week. So if anybody wants more, I have them right here. This is how to download the app. I can work with you after the meeting to get you set up with it. Okay?
Okay.
You got one more, Caio?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a bunch
All
of
right.
Does anybody not have the script, or does anybody not know what to say when a client calls?
I have this.
You have that one? Yeah, I handed that out last week. If anybody needs a script, you have that one. I gave that one to you. If you need it, I'll go with it. If anybody needs a script, which we've gone over, the script is right here. I'm not going to go through the whole script today, but the net results that we're looking for is the contact info, the address of the property, especially if they're pre-qualified, where are they in the buying process? That's the all-important question. Are they a hot lead? Are they a cold lead? Are they curious? Are they a cash buyer? That's the all important information. And then I would ask them also is when. You know, when do they want to buy? When do they want to see? That's going to create it hot for you. You know, some people are not that busy. Some people are very busy. If somebody's not hot, to me, I'm passing them off because there's a lot going on. You know, so there's a lot more happening here with Zillow. If anybody wants to go through the script, I can do it privately, but I'm just not going to go through it today because I've gone through it a couple times. If you want to grab some, I have some here for you. Okay. One thing that I'm going to bring up, that I brought up last week, and I want to bring it up again, is to please update whatever that is going on in the app with notes or whatever, because at the end of the week, Roman and I are going to be basically looking at who's done what and Xing off the nonsense and saying, okay, great, you have these people, you're working with these people, and trying to track and monitor and see if our investment in Zillow and in these trainings and everything is paying off. We need to show some results. Right now, unfortunately, we don't have any. We have offers, which is a form of result in this. You know, from the day a person calls
you
you.
say offers, what do you mean by offers?
We made offers on properties of clients that have
on behalf of a buyer.
through Zillow, right? So a client has called or emailed or texted or whatever. We're in contact with that client. Olga, I know, is dealing with some. I think Boris has some offers. But an offer is a result because that client called us for a property. We were able to make an offer on that property. Now we're working towards an executed contract and a closed sale. But an offer is still a form of result. It's just not
So
a sale.
the thing is that he saw the property in Zillow first,
Yes.
and then he contacted you, Red Square.
Somebody in red.
System. And then you guys answered, and then you guys called that agent, whoever else holds the listing, and spit an offer.
Probably they've shown it, or some of them have been sight unseen, but yeah, exactly that. So at least we have an offer on the table, we're waiting for an executed contract, or maybe it's even an executed contract already, but
You guys have these clients to come here to the office and have a face-to-face meeting before you do anything,
a
or?
few people have brought clients in. Has anybody, I know Mark has brought 1 or 2 clients in. Has anybody else brought any clients in to the office? I've made some invitations, but I personally haven't had anybody come in. That I know of, I think only Mark has brought people physically here. Boris, did you bring somebody in?
No.
No?
They even usually don't like to pick up a call afterwards.
Some of them,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why there's only 1 out of 10 that finish with it. 9 out
Sure.
of 10. It's not-
You know, half of it
That's the
from
number.
my experience
That's the number.
is nonsense. But there's also another half that's good. The beauty of this is that, you know, I'm trying to look at this in the positive. And the positive is this. As an agent, it doesn't cost you anything but answering or picking up the phone. So the leads are being brought to you. That's a pretty nice thing. Instead of you having to work through your, you know, your sphere of influence and your contacts and the people that you meet out there, at least they're bringing something to us.
Several, I don't know, and some information, several houses or apartments, just information.
Sometimes.
They never like to pick up your call, to follow with you, to proceed with you, and
It's normal.
They just
That's normal.
run.
That's normal. I'm getting that too, but I'm
You
also
go on the
getting.
web, you go on the web to get the information.
But we'd like to know if the lead is good or not good.
Well, that's your job in a way. That's what I'm saying with the.
Of course, I know.
Script is
of course,
to work through.
I'm just telling that the most leads are considered, they are not good.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's about 1 in 10. So if you're going to answer the phone 10 times, maybe 1 of those 10 times is a quality lead of somebody that is worth your time because your time is valuable to you and to the company and to everybody. So guys, back to the thing. It's really important to please, whenever you can, update the notes. Hot, cold, medium. If it's cold, we'll ignore it. But if it's not, to please go through it. One thing I wanted to highlight, this is pretty much the perfect scenario of what can be done in the system and how I can track it. And this actually was Claudia last week. I don't know if this lead is actually even alive for you, Claudia. That guy, the big house last week, just sent a nice email.
Yes, I'm working with
You working with him? Okay. So a really great lead came in last week. I happened to be here. Claudia was here. I brought it up to her attention. She immediately wrote this really great email to the client, which is basically saying, as a real estate agent in your area and fellow neighbor, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Claudia Xavier. I'm from Miami Red Square. You've been thinking about moving, blah, blah, blah. So it's an introductory email. The person just wrote us something saying, hey, I'm interested in this property, and really didn't write anything else. Claudia's actually working with this guy, and as you guys can see, it's not a chunk of lead. It's $1,250,000. So it's a pretty big house. I actually happened to show a house in this exact neighborhood like 2 weeks ago or so. So I told Claudia if she needs info or any backup, I'd be more than happy to
I'm driving here still.
give her what you did. So this is the perfect case scenario of how we can use the system as a group. This lead came in. I think Claudia was busy on the computer. I saw it was a big number. Brought it up to her. She sent this beautiful email. She put it as a warm lead because the guy hadn't answered her phone call. Claudia Salguero is contacting this client. I know that she's working on it. As somebody monitoring the system, I go on to the next one. Every once in a while I might say, hey Claudia, what's going on with that lead? Maybe at the end of the week or something. But this is the perfect situation to be in the computer. If it's cold, say cold. If it's a hot one and you're working on it, maybe you need help, you can show it, or you want us to show something else because it's a higher lead, just let me know. You know, we can filter that through. So I just wanted to point this out because she put it as warm, she made a note, she sent an email in the system. You don't have to email through the system if you don't want. I personally rather email from my personal email because I already have emails built to send out. I have this email, which I'm sure you just copied and pasted here, no?
Yes, but you can do it here too.
You can do it here too.
You
So that's up to you.
can templates and send it to them.
Right through here?
Yes.
Nice. So that's your choice. You know, I don't.
So when you said, I'm sorry, this is the first meeting reference. When you say, you said through the system means Premier agent?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you send this from desktop? You sent this from desktop, I imagine. No,
You
Claudia?
follow it because
I already did.
I'm sorry.
After, I'll help you set up the app so that you're good to go and you can receive the leads. So I won't get into the super details this minute, but immediately after we can sit down and I'll go
We
through
can do
that
that
with you.
tomorrow. I heard that you're busy today, right?
Sure. It takes just a few minutes. I can do that for you. But what I was highlighting is that she actually went through the system with this one. You know, she did it in the actual app. So if you see right here, you know, let's imagine you have it installed and you're looking at it. You can click and write a reply to the customer
You
right
can
here.
reply here. It's like I already done it.
Yep. Yeah, you can reply right here, or you can reply however it is that you're doing now. If it's your private email account, Gmail, whatever, it's up to
You
you.
see this where say use email templates? You click there and you can,
Oh, right here?
yes.
Cool.
Right there. And you can make them and hover
create one and leave it in your own
You
account.
can create 1, 2, 3. I have 2.
Oh, good, I didn't know that yet, nice. Everybody see that? So if you want, in Zillow itself, you can operate right from the app, as you can create your own template, which is what Claudia did here, and send it right from here, so you don't have to be typing each individual message as they come in. So that's a pretty nice feature. I'll play with that this week and maybe we can go more than that. I like to see your other one too. I'm grateful for it. Nice. Thanks for bringing that up. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, in this one, it's right there. I don't need this much control in life. Some people like everything and all this control. I don't operate my life that way. As long as we have an honor system with each other and everybody's being very straightforward, I don't need to know what you're doing every day. I just like to know when you guys have offers because that's a net result for us. And that's good for Roman to know, the owners to know they're making a big investment every month in this. And, you know, an offer from the day somebody calls to the day we close a deal, that might be 45 or 50 days. If they make an offer on the first property and it's financed. So I do understand that we can measure, you know, my understanding is that we measure our result on this by quarter. I don't think we measure
so far.
No, not right now. No, we have about 4 executed contracts that I know of that are working towards. I think Holger has, you have a few, no? Executed contracts?
One contract and 2 offers this week.
2 offer, okay. Good, so we have an executed contract that we're, yeah, and there's a few other people that have them too. I don't remember who it is off the top of my head. One other thing, guys, is about the zip codes. We have one zip code that I'm going to be eliminating this week, which is where we're getting the majority of our lowball stuff, you know, our Section 8 stuff and the rentals. We're going to be removing that, and we're going to be changing it to another zip code. Roman has been talking that over with the partners. I've suggested a few, Mark suggested a few, Julia suggested a few to change gears. We're getting a lot of stuff in the $50,000, $80,000 range, low stuff. So we're going to be changing. to 33162. That is the exact zip code. I went through, I spent about an hour going through the system.
Where is that?
By 33162, we have 300,000, 270,000.
You do. The median, that's a great point you bring up. The median that it shows on Zillow and on MLS, the median home is 270,000 for 33162. However, all the $50,000, $75,000 calls that we're getting, they're all in 33162.
Yesterday, I got a lead, $270,000 from there.
Okay.
Spanish. So I passed
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Okay. He called and said, no, I just click in there. I'm looking to buy something between $50,000 to $60,000.
Wow.
And they click on 270. Even if
Yeah.
70 there, they're looking for 50 grand, you know? Yeah.
United States, $50,000.
No, in Cuba.
But you know what? Some of those $50,000, $70,000 guys, some of those have been cash.
Yeah, but and that's the day between me and me. $50,000.
You didn't understand,
Hold on.
$50,000 was the down
Listen.
payment.
$50,000 the lead, times 3% is $1,500 commission. Divided by 2 after paying the office is $400. I'm rather pay the realtor $400. They don't do it after 1 month closing, title work. This and all.
We had this conversation on Friday,
Yeah.
and you were in the room, and I'll bring it up again. Last week there was a lead that came in. It was on Friday when the team was here, and it was like 50 grand, or 60,000 or something. But it's not a big number, and you're right. Technically, your net result on that would be half, because if you're getting paid on half the commission, you take the number divided by half. That's what you're basing your commission on. However, that lead, the guy was just wanting to make an offer. I don't remember if Katrina made that offer. Katrina, on Friday, the one guy that called about the very cheap apartment, but he was going to pay in all cash. Remember that guy?
No, it was an Angela.
Oh, it was Angela, and then you two called actually. Wasn't it you guys? You passed it off to them or something?
No, Angela, and then she asked Mark also to call him
And I
back.
contact him again.
And also
He
she
is out of town.
Cold.
He called.
Okay.
No, but you know, I got
Like Siberia.
it for 70,000 and nobody wanna take it, and then, well, let me take it. And then the lady was a Spanish one in North Miami, and then she ended up buying me a duplex for 150. So she was just trying, no 70, well, for 70, let me show what you can find. It was like,
Yeah.
not a good neighborhood. At the end, she qualified for a loan.
Well, we have no control over who calls.
Yeah,
We're at the mercy of the public. You know, frankly speaking. So what's our job from there? Is to filter through it. figure out who they are they hot, are they not? If they're not hot, next, that's fine. It's very fine to say no, thank you, goodbye, or I'll call you, whatever. But it's the more important thing is to find the person that's ready, able, and willing, and hopefully soon, and make the contact, go through the motions, and generate some business from it. But there's a lot of nonsense. There's a lot. This guy here, he wrote us an email. If I go back through it, I'm going from memory, but if I remember, it was like 50 or 60,000. He's like, I'm paying in cash. I just want to know if it's available. If so, I want to make an offer today. Right? I think his email was something like that. So then Mark brought up that point. Hey, it's a valid point. It's not a big number. You're gonna work for $500. That's fine. But if it's an easy thing of just drafting the contract, then draft that contract and make that $500. It was $500 you weren't going to make that day. But it's not someone I would invest in time.
It's not the system, because we all know that's not happening. I think, because we just started and we're trying the market, no, we can do miracles, it's the first time we're doing it. I think now after trying, since we're paying zero, we should now drop some of the...
Sure. And we'll do that this week.
Yeah, zip codes. So instead of shopping there, just, start somewhere else, maybe it's going to happen.
I brought up the zip codes that you brought up. Julia brought up some zip codes. I did some poking around myself on zip codes that, are somewhat advantageous to the team. If you look at the map, they're all pretty close to where we are now, and one of them in Lighthouse Point, Pompano, which is...
You should charge zero to answer the phone calls.
We're trying to do that reverse psychology with them to see if it works. I've got to call them. So guys, that's really all I have for now. Basically, I have some of the scripts here if anybody wants to go over it. In the mornings, I'm here as a reference to anybody if they want to ask questions. I've done all kinds of different deals, generic and not generic, so you guys can tap into me for any kind of info. Please update the system whenever possible, especially from the desktop, because if you do it from the app, it does not communicate itself into the desktop, and the desktop does not communicate into the phone. So if you could do it here, it's going to help me, help you, so on and so forth. If there are leads that you cannot work on, it's very fine to let me know, and I'll reshuffle it. Mark has done that recently. Thank you for being honest enough to say, hey, I can't work this guy, do something with it. And I think Angela brought one up to me. So if you guys can't work it, no one's getting penalized. We're a team. We're trying to fine-tune this machine to
But where are the leads coming from? I mean, which city? I see.
I have a whole map of them. I can get into it after, but I have a whole map of them that I distributed out to everybody. We're going to be dropping definitely one zip code, maybe two zip codes, and shifting zip codes. But generally speaking, it's in the immediate area. In a general sense. So guys, in conclusion, that's pretty much what I have today. If you guys can join the team and be on call, that's great. If you can't be on call, no one's going to be penalized. We need people to be there. So if you can't make it for a couple of days, or you have priorities of some sort, or a client is here, or you're away, that's fine. No one gets penalized. An example is Holger the other day couldn't make it in, but didn't want to be frowned upon because he couldn't be here. I said, Holger, you have people that you're working with, that's hot. You have clients in town, that's hot. That's hotter than answering the phone call of something. So if someone can't make it, that's plenty fine. It's okay. There's going to be opportunities for everybody to be a part of that. So I just wanted to voice that.
So you put all of us on the call system?
I think as of right now, Roman has it of the people that replied to him yesterday. Basically the people that are here.
Okay, because
from 9
I
to
got
3.
just one call yesterday. Yeah. And so that it means that I'm on the system, right?
You are.
Okay.
Yes, the phone, like the ringing phone calls, is going to have it here. As far as the other leads, the ones that reach out when you're in the rotation, then you'll still get that.
Got it.
Okay. Any comments? Ideas? Shayna, you smile a lot over share story?
Mark, usually you have some stuff, some stories, some.
I was like the movie star.
Yeah,
the movie. I was there last week, and I come back next year.
Go ahead, Obi.
Just
Once a year. It's a once a year thing.
consideration of Roman, if the leads from 200,000 down, the distribution can be different. 60-40. Keep people motivated.
I suggested that. He's definitely going to do that for rentals. I don't remember what the split is. He'll announce that. I don't want to announce that for him. And I did make a suggestion of let's tier it different because the low ones were getting crushed. It's not such a bad thing when you're above 250,000, but when you're way below that, then it makes it more difficult. I brought that up and he's looking into it. he and I are gonna have a more elaborate meeting this week about changing the zip codes and changing that idea. I brought that up to him. That's a good point.
Okay.
Anything else, guys?
Thank you.
Thank you.